Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. Sometimes you gotta disappear. You gotta fade into the background for a minute. Step out of the hustle, step out of the noise, and take a step back. Why? Because that's when the real work begins. That's when the real transformation starts. See, we all have baggage. We all have things that hold us down, things that weigh us down. But here's the thing. You don't have to stay stuck in that place. You don't have to let your past, your mistakes, and your failures define you. You can disappear from that old version of yourself and rise as something entirely new. But here's the thing about disappearing. It's not about running away. No, it's about letting go. Letting go of the fears, letting go of the doubts, letting go of the people who don't believe in you, letting go of the person you used to be. And when you do that, when you take that step and you disappear into the unknown, that's when you start finding out who you truly are. That's when you start discovering that the strength you thought you didn't have is actually inside you. It's always been inside you. Now, I'm not going to tell you it's easy. It's not. It's going to be hard. There are going to be days when you want to quit. There are going to be days when it feels like the world's against you. But I need you to understand this. Everything you're going through, every challenge, every setback, it's part of your evolution. It's part of what's going to make you unrecognizable. When you disappear, you step out of the spotlight. You start doing the work that nobody sees, the work on yourself, the late nights, the sacrifices, the tough choices. That's where the magic happens. No one's watching, but you're building, you're growing, you're becoming. So I want you to embrace the unknown. I want you to be okay with disappearing for a minute. I want you to understand that real growth doesn't come from being seen. It comes from within. It comes from doing the work when no one else is looking. It comes from the quiet moments of reflection when you're alone with your thoughts. And when you emerge, when you finally rise from that period of transformation, you won't be the same. You will be stronger. You will be wiser. And most importantly, you will be unrecognizable. You'll be the best version of yourself. So don't be afraid to disappear. Don't be afraid to shed that old skin and become someone who can't be ignored, someone who stands tall and says, I did the work. I reinvent myself. And now I'm ready for the world. Let's go, people. It's time to disappear and then come back unrecognizable. Sometimes in life we reach a point where we feel stuck, caught in a routine, trapped by the expectations of others, or burdened by the weight of our past. We hold on to the familiar, even though it no longer serves us. That's when it's time to disappear. Not literally, but figuratively. It's time to step away from the noise, the distractions, and the external pressures. It's time to permit yourself to reinvent yourself. Reinvention isn't a quick fix or a shallow change. It's about completely transforming your life. It's about shedding the layers of doubt, fear, and negativity that have accumulated over the years. Reinvention is the power to redefine who you are, who you want to become, and where you want to go. Letting go of the old is one of the hardest things you'll ever have to do. It's not easy to walk away from something familiar, even if it's no longer helping you grow. But here's the truth. Holding on to the past can keep you stagnant. It can prevent you from stepping into the person you are meant to be. Letting go of the old doesn't mean you erase your history, but it means you stop letting your past define your future. It's about understanding that the version of yourself who made mistakes, who failed, or who was hurt is not the version of yourself who gets to create the future. The future is wide open. It's an opportunity to rebuild, to renew, and to grow. So let go of what no longer serves you. Let go of old patterns, negative thinking, toxic relationships, and limiting beliefs. The moment you release these things, you make room for the new. You give yourself the space to evolve. But the path to reinvention isn't always clear. It's often messy. It's like breaking down a wall without knowing what's on the other side. The challenges you face as you let go of the old and build something new are not obstacles. They are stepping stones. Every setback is an opportunity to grow stronger. Every failure is a lesson, and every roadblock is a test of your resilience. You see, the tough times don't define you. How you respond to them does. You see, when life gets tough, you can either shrink back or rise. Those who rise are the ones who find their true strength. They are the ones who understand that challenges aren't meant to break you. They're meant to build you. When you face your challenges head on, you realize that what's on the other side of adversity is growth, confidence, and wisdom. That's what makes you unrecognizable. True change begins with self-awareness. You cannot change what you don't understand. The journey of reinvention requires you to take a deep, honest look at yourself, the good, the bad, and the ugly. It requires you to confront the parts of yourself you've been avoiding or ignoring. It might mean having hard conversations with yourself. It might mean facing your fears, your insecurities, and the lies you've told yourself for years. However, self-awareness is the foundation of transformation. Once you truly understand who you are, you can begin to build who you want to become. This doesn't mean you have to have it all figured out, but you need to be honest with yourself about where you are. Recognize your strengths and weaknesses, your habits and your patterns. Be willing to see yourself as you truly are, not as you want to appear. And then, be willing to make the changes necessary to evolve into the best version of yourself. There's an incredible power in disappearing. When you step away from the noise of the world and disconnect from external distractions, you allow yourself to focus on what truly matters. Disappearing doesn't mean abandoning the world. It means retreating into a space of reflection and growth. It's about deciding to step off the stage, stop performing for others, and focus solely on your development. The power of disappearing lies in the clarity it brings. When you remove yourself from the constant pressure to impress others, to live up to their expectations, or to meet society's standards, you start to focus on what's important, your growth. You stop measuring your worth by the opinions of others and start measuring it by your progress. Sometimes the hardest thing to do is to be unseen. In a world that constantly demands our attention, our validation, and our presence, it can be uncomfortable to take a step back. But there's power in being unseen. There's strength in silence. It's in those quiet moments of solitude that you truly grow. It's when you're not worried about being seen or acknowledged that you do the most work on yourself. The courage to be unseen is the courage to put in the effort that no one else will see, the effort that happens behind closed doors, in the early mornings, the late nights, and the times when no one is watching. That's when you build your character, when you develop the habits, the mindset, and the resilience that will ultimately make you unstoppable. When you disappear into this space of self-reflection and growth, you have to be willing to embrace uncertainty. The path forward isn't always clear. It's often foggy. There's no roadmap to success and no guarantee that your journey will be easy. But that's okay. Uncertainty is part of the process. It's the unknown that forces you to grow, to stretch beyond your limits, and to learn to trust yourself. When you embrace uncertainty, you're no longer bound by the fear of the unknown. Instead, you begin to see it as an opportunity for growth and transformation. The best things in life rarely come from certainty. They come from the willingness to step into the unknown with faith and courage. No one sees the work that goes on behind the scenes. No one sees the sleepless nights, the sacrifices, the internal battles you fight, or the tears you shed. But none of that matters. What matters is that you keep going. What matters is that you continue to show up even when it feels like no one is watching. That's where real growth happens. That's where the transformation takes place. The unseen work is what builds the foundation of your future. It's what makes you strong, resilient, and unbreakable. It's what turns you into someone unrecognizable. And when you finally emerge, people will see the results of that work, even if they didn't see the struggle behind it. Your strength will speak for itself. Transformation is never easy, but it's always worth it. Change doesn't happen overnight, but when it comes from within, it's lasting. True transformation begins inside you. It's a shift in mindset, a change in perspective, and an unwavering belief in your ability to overcome obstacles. Transformation requires dedication, discipline, and determination. It's not about the world changing around you. It's about changing how you see yourself and how you respond to the world. The moment you believe in your potential is the moment everything starts to shift. When you finally emerge from your period of transformation, you will be unrecognizable, not in a physical sense, but in a spiritual, emotional, and mental sense. You will have shed the old layers of self-doubt, insecurity, and fear, and you will rise as someone stronger, wiser, and more capable than you ever imagined. The person you become after disappearing and going through this process will be someone who faces the world with confidence, someone who knows their worth, and someone who is ready to take on whatever life throws their way. That person won't just survive, they will thrive. They will be unrecognizable to the world, and most importantly to themselves. They will have become the best version of who they were always meant to be. In conclusion, the journey of disappearing and becoming unrecognizable is not an easy one, but it is one of the most powerful and transformative experiences you will ever have. It requires courage to step away from the familiar, to let go of the past, and to embrace the unknown. It demands a deep level of self-awareness, a commitment to doing the unseen work, and the resilience to face challenges head-on. But in that process, you will uncover strength you never knew you had. You will build a foundation of confidence, wisdom, and perseverance. You will realize that the transformation you seek is not something that happens to you. It happens because of you. It happens because you decide, no matter how difficult or uncertain the path may be, to trust yourself, to grow, and to evolve. And when you emerge from that period of reinvention, you won't be the same person you were when you started. You'll be stronger, wiser, and more capable than ever before. You will have created the best version of yourself, the one that was always inside, just waiting for the right moment to rise. The world won't be able to ignore you, because your growth will speak louder than anything else. So, don't be afraid to disappear for a while. Don't be afraid to do the work that no one else sees. The transformation you go through will make you unrecognizable, but in the best way possible. When you step back into the world, you'll do so as a force to be reckoned with, ready to take on whatever comes next with unshakable confidence. Remember, the power to reinvent yourself is in your hands. Embrace it, trust it, and allow yourself to become the person you were always meant to be. If you found this speech inspiring, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more motivational content. Stay focused, stay strong, and keep growing.